Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to the Let's Play official podcast, episode 3. So this week's podcast is going to be a little bit different, as we're going to focus on GameWisp for today. So to facilitate this, I'm being joined by Eli and Michael from the GameWisp team.
How's it going? Oh, did I jump the gun? I jumped the gun.
A little bit, I don't know, whatever. Who cares?
We can run that back.
No, just keep rolling. Sorry, man.
It's cool. I didn't exactly put cues in this script, did I? I'm also being rejoined by Mari from Geek Remix, who has a lot of experience with the platform as one of their first creators.
Hello.
The GameWisp team has been very close to the Let's Play community. I think as far back as December 2013, that's when, I think it was Eli, put up his post introducing it. And actually, he'll regularly drop by in various threads to participate, which is awesome. But what is GameWisp? I'm going to let these guys talk about it, seeing as I know very little.
All right. Well, thanks for having us on the show. I appreciate it very much. My name is Michael. I'm the CEO of GameWisp. Eli's here, as Wander mentioned.
What's up? I'm the CTO.
That's right. That means he does all the technology things. But yeah, so we're happy to be here and share a little bit about GameWisp, and then we just talk through it and ask any questions and all that kind of stuff. So GameWisp at its heart is a website, a platform really for gaming creators to engage with their audience in meaningful ways, and then also to help them make more money from their content and from their brand. And that's kind of our basic elevator pitch. But those are our two goals. It's like what we set out to do is help gaming video content creators to do those two things: engage with their fans and then make more money from their content. So that's a good place to start. I can elaborate on that if you want. Okay. What that means specifically, or where do you want to go?
Why don't we go with that?
Sure. So at GameWisp, and it's helpful to kind of think about what we are in the context of our story. But I can start out with just saying that we love gaming video. We love gaming video content creators. That's what got us into this in the first place. We aren't really creators ourselves, other than when we, make the, a random Let's Play, or we stream some stuff in the morning, stuff like that. But we've watched it for years and years and years. And so, we come from a place of loving this medium and this community. And so we wanted to build tools that could help content creators with their channels and with sustainable revenue and things like that.
Yeah, it turns out it was really hard, really, really hard to build these tools. So to kind of talk about, set the stage, we realized that, and this was even before platforms like Patreon and fan funding and even GameWisp itself, that creators were kind of living and dying by CPM and relying on revenue. And this is now, granted, there's a divide here, right? So there's somebody who's gonna Let's Play and make this content because they like it, and it's fun, and it's great, and it's just always going to be a hobby. There are people that are, they kind of want to make money and do it and pursue it full time. And it's not really a question of like passion or drive or creation. It's just some people want to pursue that full time and some don't. And so when we speak about creators, we're kind of speaking of the people that sort of fall into the second bin, the people that want to make money from it. They want to quit their day jobs. They want this to be, what they do because they're super passionate or whatever. And so we were seeing creators in that boat living and dying by the CPM rate and always being in this sort of survival mode. It's like, I've got to work, I've got to make content. It wasn't uncommon at all for us to talk to content creators who were, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, putting out content, trying to get those views on YouTube. And we just, we kind of stepped back and to us that almost felt like punishment. It's like, you're having to do all this and bend over backwards just to sustain your life so you can pursue your passion. It was like this vicious cycle. You just keep working hard because you're passionate about it. It's driving you into the ground. And so we really wanted to find better ways for those creators to kind of make a living and be more comfortable and kind of get their life back.
Yeah, I think that's a great phrase. We talk about a lot here in the office, just about helping people get their lives back. We talked to a lot of gaming content creators that are at, PAX or RTX or one of the various conferences that, they had to sometimes people are afraid to take time off from their channel because they think they're going to lose viewers, views, audience, whatever. People who work, 18 to 20 hour days for a conference to make sure they have enough content that's scheduled in a YouTube channel. And so it's from those realizations that we decided, or I guess that we come from when we design tools and use software to try and help solve those problems.
Yeah, it comes down to kind of optimizing two things for us. It's income. Can you make money? Can we optimize that? Can we make it better? And then time spent. So can we make your life as a creator easier, even if it's just in little ways? Are there little things we can do in the tools we build that can make your life easier and save you time? So you can either make more content, or like go outside or whatever you do. Watch more TV. I don't care. However you want to spend the other parts of your life. And so that's the driving sort of impetus behind everything we make. Is how do we make your life better as a creator? So that's what we do. Any questions about that specifically? We can, because we can just talk about this forever.
Well, I think maybe you should say specifically what it is that you provide, which I like.
Yeah, totally. And that's, I guess, our that's a great next step, because I think from that place you have these sort of like lofty goals of like, I want to save time, I want to give someone their life back. It's like, what does that practically mean?
It's very
software?
Nebulous.
Yeah. And so from that place, we've built out a few tools. People may be familiar with the Watch Room, which we talked about with folks last summer. We have since at that point sort of changed a lot of what we do based on creators' feedback, and we've landed on this this thing that we call having insiders, having an insider program. And what that is in its core is basically a way to do fan funding, but without the, basically a way to do fan funding where you're able to automate all of the delivery of rewards that you give to people for supporting your channel. And so, let Eli, I guess, elaborate on that more specifically.
Yeah, our kind of driving goal here is, if you think about a platform like Patreon, where you pledge a bunch of tiers and a bunch of rewards, and people come and pay for a certain tier and they get certain things. From talking to various creators, it ended up becoming sort of a management headache. And I think there was a lot of guilt sometimes on creators' part. It's like, man, I've got this Patreon thing, I've got this handful of people, and they're subbing at this level and pledging at this level, and I just don't have time to provide them stuff this week, and blah blah blah. And so there's a lot of sort of like negative feelings tied up with going through the Patreon process. And so our approach was like, well, let's offer things that we can automate. That way there's never any headache. So one of the things we do is we've built an entire system around series management, is what we call it, which is basically an easy way to manage kind of the long form episodic Let's Play content that video game content creators often create. So I've got a series about The Last of Us, and it's 50 episodes long, right, or whatever. And so we've built tools to kind of make it easy to upload that content to us, manage that content, and then have that content be delivered to people that want to be in your insider program, where they pay some monthly fee at a price you set, and they come and they can watch that content. And then after a certain amount of time that you specify, we automatically push that content over to YouTube, and it goes in the right playlist. It has the right tags. It has the right description. It has the thumbnail. So it's just like you push it over there yourself. And so we built all these tools so you only need one point of interaction for 90% of cases, and that's GameWisp. And then it pushes over and is handled automatically. And so this lets you offer kind of an insider experience without having to manage two different YouTube and our platform.
You should also add that you guys automate the annotations too, so that when you make a playlist, you can put the annotations that you want in the playlist, and then make even more individual ones as you're uploading, because I always thought that was the best part.
Yeah, the tags and descriptions and all those sorts of things are managed at a series level or playlist level. So on our platform, we have things called series, and the series are basically equivalent to what a playlist is on YouTube. But instead of managing your content video by video and then adding them to a playlist, we thought it made more sense for Let's Players to manage a series and then add videos to that particular series. And so, as Mari said, you can basically add all the details you want for all the episodes to the main series object.
So tags or
tags, right? And then as you add episodes, all that stuff is automatically added to that particular episode, and it'll be carried over to YouTube when we push it over.
And you can still edit per episode,
right? And so the cool thing is tying this really great series manager that seems to save people time, seems to be and you can come if you're interested in listening to this, obviously we can walk you through it or whatever. And I think we have a video on our site that kind of walks through it. But the idea is that we tie that with things like this early access model where people can, as Eli said, pay you a monthly subscription fee and then get access to your content early. And the point of that, going back to kind of our like core values, is we wanted, to get in the middle of the workflow of the content creator. So this is content you're already making. It's going to be free in the end anyway. But fans are willing to pay a little extra to get it early because they want to support you, and it's a great way that you can manage something without adding a ton of time to what you're already doing.
Yeah, I think that's the main goal. We just, like we said already, we don't add time, and we feel like that's what our system does. We're in beta; it's not perfect. We're still taking suggestions for how to make things better. We're fixing things as we go. But even now, how it stands, we've been working closely with Mari because she was interested in this insider program. We've been working closely with her on the series management side of things, and so I think we're doing it right, Mari? I mean, you're saving time.
Well, let me say what I like about it from a content creator side.
Yeah,
you guys have been talking for a while now.
Yeah, right.
So from my perspective, what I like is that as opposed to Patreon, where I have to basically automate all the stuff myself, like if I want to give out early access content or private content where I don't want anyone else to see it, I only want my Patreons to see it, I have to copy and paste a bunch of links and label each link and say, this is what it is, blah, 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 blah. And then everyone has to click the links. Instead of that, with GameWisp, I upload the video to their server, and they do a lot of the SEO automation, which I'm in complete control of. They don't do it. I just have a preset that I make, and that automatically gets an email sent out to all my insiders who bid for early access, and they get to see the videos actually in higher quality than it would be on YouTube, because YouTube compresses it. And for me, I feel like that's a really nice feature that they're able to see it with less compression. And they get to see it early, and I don't have to feel as bad, because I feel bad about taking donations even though I'm like, I need it to survive. So that feels pretty good. And I also like that you guys added some other new features where I can make it much easier for me to initiate having hangouts with my insiders, like the little channel chat. I can come in and be like, hey guys, what's up? What are you guys doing? And then I can have little message boards on my channel where I put like, hey guys, thanks for coming. Why don't you leave a comment and I'll talk to you. It's just that kind of, that little already set up thing I can do instead of trying to set up a chat room or a Google Hangout or a Twitch stream. That makes it easier for me to give insiders what they need. It saves me a lot of time and stress.
That's what we like to hear. Yeah, and so I mean that was our big goal, right? Saving time and stress and building features to sort of accommodate that. So I mean, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. To speak technically to the quality point, yeah, I've noticed that. It's sort of, and I can't. Someday I'll sit down and put numbers on this. On like, is it 5% better than YouTube or 10% better than YouTube's video quality? I don't know. I can tell you qualitatively, just looking at the videos that we've had delivered through our system thus far, like they do look better. They do, and so when we push to YouTube, when we push something you upload to YouTube, we actually use the base video you gave us, and so it's kind of a neat way to do a comparison. Like with the Geek Remix videos that have been coming out, I'll watch it on our servers and take a look and watch it come down. And then when it gets pushed over, I'll watch it on YouTube and be like, this does look a little better, even at comparable resolutions. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I wish I could put some numbers behind that, but my gut feeling is it looks better.
Well, to take it from like this kind of thing, when I take a video down from YouTube, it's like 300 megabytes, and when I upload it, it's like 1.2 gigs. So there's a big difference.
Yeah. And we're not delivering like the pure, totally uncompressed what you give us. Like we keep that and we send it to YouTube. But we do that encoding step, like the same encoding YouTube does, right? So you can have 1080, 720, 480, the other one, 460, whatever. Yeah, and we're going to step down to the mobile resolutions shortly. But so like we do that encoding as well. It's just the setup we use is a little different. The pre-configured steps we use are a little different, and that results in a different output quality than YouTube might have. I think it's better.
Right. So
it's also better than YouTube's scheduled release system, because when I do scheduled releases, I still have to put all the the annotations and the descriptions in for each one, and then it's kind of like uploading at the same time, and it's really weird. And also at the same time, I can't put the scheduled links to my Patreons because it's set to private. So when I do it to GameWisp, they're able to see all of it, and the annotations and the thumbnails are already taken care of. And you guys upload it 12 hours early in case I want to do any last minute changes or do a check over to make sure everything's working.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, we push to YouTube 12 hours early. So then, like, it's a two-step process. So, like, we'll push 12 hours before you want it to be released. And you tell us when you want it to be released on YouTube through GameWisp when you actually upload the video. So we push it 12 hours earlier, and then you've got 12 hours to go in if you want to add, like, overlays. I think if you want to change the monetization settings, you know, and that kind of thing. And then there's another pass we make on videos we push to YouTube where we turn them on. And that's at the time.
Yeah, because they're pushed private. And we do that because pushing unlisted actually negatively affects the amount of views you have, just based on how it interacts with the, you know, like the people that subscribe to you and their feeds and all that stuff. So we push private and then move it to public at the, the time you tell us to do that. So, you know, like I said, it goes back to just like trying to make, you know, lives easier for content creators. And, you know, I guess like, you know, something that you may ask is like, what's in it for, you know, we talk about what's in it for y'all
as creators,
and there's a lot. And, you know, I guess the point is that this is like one of the first major things we've done. You know, we've done the, in our vision for what we're going to build and what we're going to be and that sort of thing. And so, you know, I guess the opposite question is what's in it for us. And, you know, so I think, other than like the touchy-feelies of helping content creators like their content, you know, you know, we're trying to build something that, you know, is sustainable in a way that, you know, we can keep making more tools. So
gotta sign our paychecks, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right. So, you know, there is like we look at ourselves similar to something like the, you know, Twitch sub button or something like that, where, you know, we're gonna take a, you know, this is the business part, but you know, we take a fee out of it, and then because we think the tools are valuable and really do save time, and so that's just how we pay the bills, keep the lights on, keep the servers running, keep the video streaming, all that.
You seem so uncomfortable while talking about money.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
speaking of the fee, the way the insiders works is that you can set a minimum, which are the minimum that you can set the minimum to is $3. And I have mine at $3.99. But then on top of that, they can leave you a tip for just that month, or they can go above $3.99 and give like $10 a month or $7 a month. Which, not surprisingly, but a lot of people are actually really willing to give way more than the minimum.
Oh yeah,
always.
Yeah.
So if I put my minimum really low because I don't know, I feel bad. But then a lot of people. And actually, like, I don't think anyone's actually given the minimum yet. They actually give them something like $5 or $10 a month. And it's really easy. And you guys take a flat fee from each one. And it's fine with me because I'm getting a lot of insiders. And you guys honestly give a lot more than Patreon. And Patreon barely does anything.
Yeah, and we've heard that. And so we're happy to hear that. To put some...
Yeah,
being the technical person, put some concrete numbers around it.
I'll put the you know, the specifics on it, because you know we're all about transparency too. Is that you know, we do set that minimum that you can put it at. We take a flat fee of $2.50 from the monthly recurring subscription,
and that's if you charge $10, if you charge $7, if you charge $3.99, it's just a flat fee,
which is the same as Twitch. Just in case you guys are wondering, that's actually an industry standard.
Yeah,
so don't think that's too much. That's like I actually researched it too, because I wanted to make sure that's the industry standard for that type of service.
We had a hard time coming to terms with what to take, right? Because you're in contention with two things. One, you know, you want creators to make as much as possible because we want to help you guys, and that's not just like lip service. That's where we're coming from. From the other, it's like, man, we got to pay our bills. And so, you know, we talked to a lot of creators about, well, like, what seems fair? Like, and a lot of what we heard is, oh yeah, $2.50 seems fair. That's what Twitch takes, and you know, all I get is emoticons or whatever. So, you know, like we felt like $2.50 was fair. It is my hope, and this is not even the opinion of GameWisp, but all this is my personal opinion. It's my hope that at scale that number can change.
Yeah,
it may or may not ride its business, but like, it's my hope that number can change.
Right.
And we have decided that kind of no matter what services we offer in the future, they can like automate things and make your life better. Like we don't want to go above that number.
Yeah.
Like, that we want that to be, this is the cost of our services that make your life easier. We think this is fair.
Yeah.
And anything you make on top of that, on top of that base fee.
Yeah. And so just to be clear on that, it's, that's $250 on whatever the base tier price is. And then if people give you a tip, then we take the same rate as Patreon on that. So it's like 5% plus credit card fees.
Or
so
something. Yeah. It's
yeah,
Patreon.
we just want to be competitive with other people in the market. So that's what's in it for us, other than the joy of hanging out with content creators we love and supporting them.
Yeah, and Mari's right. It really it made my day to see when she started her insider program, and people would pretty often give above the base rate. That was really nice.
Yeah,
you'd see some recurring donations of like $6 or $7, maybe as high as $10. You'd see tips for $5, $10, maybe $15, and so that was really cool for like one-time tips to see that come in. So
yeah.
And you guys are working on getting PayPal in there too.
Yeah. Right now we support credit card transactions, but our next step is PayPal. Our hope is to have that in testing by the end of the week. I don't know if that's going to happen because we had this huge ice storm, and then also we just had to adjust our video delivery platform to go worldwide.
Yeah.
But that is definitely like we're going to have PayPal in there as soon as possible. One day maybe we'll support Bitcoin or Dogecoin or something.
No.
But we've got. We've got about 6 people now working on GameWisp full time.
Let me look around the room real fast.
That's right. We've got 5 here, and we're based out of Nashville. We've got a couple developers on staff, and that sort of thing.
You guys
which
are
is
up
cool.
24/7 all the time. Like it could be 3 in the morning, and I'm like, "Hey guys, like, what are you guys doing?" They're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah, and we're at a spot now where we're small enough and to be very responsive. We hope to stay very responsive as we get bigger. The company, I'm going to be sad the day that we have like too much volume that I can't interact with every single creator.
Yeah.
But for now, for sure, like the head of tech support is the CEO and CTO.
Yeah,
that's who you get. So,
right.
when you talk to us on Skype or you talk to us on Reddit, we're the ones reaching out to you because hey man, that's how it is.
Yeah,
small businesses.
We work out of a basement.
It's nice. It's cozy.
It's cozy. Like we have kind of like a little office thing. But so I think the point of bringing that up even is like we're not huge. We're kind of small, but we have got some resources behind us that are going to enable us to stick around for a while. We're not going anywhere or anything like that, and so we're just excited to be where we're at. I think it's great to be able to have a product where we feel like we're able to help people and it's out and people can use it, which is new for us in the last 2 weeks. So that's pretty cool.
Before we get too far from the topic, these services that you've been expounding, and I know Mari's had a lot of experience with them, but like for example, I don't have access to them yet because I'm not part of the insider program, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
Wait, let him finish the question.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
The main question is, I guess for most regular people, these sound like awesome features, but like, so you need to be part of the insider program to say even upload videos to you guys, and then really all of the series management stuff. I know I can like import my playlists from YouTube to GameWisp, so like I have some amount of functionality, but for regular end users who are not part of the insider program, there's not much for us yet.
That's true.
Like, when would we get that? Do you know?
So the reason we've kind of gated Insider is it goes back to us being a small company, right? Like we kind of need to control who's uploading to our system, like what that's doing as far as load on the infrastructure. Is everything working? Are the bugs all out and all that kind of stuff? So in terms of how you would do it now, if you were a content creator, you would sign up, we'd import your YouTube if you let us, and all that fun stuff, and you could still like create new series if you wanted. But that would be just within the scope of videos you had on YouTube. So in terms of practical usefulness, that's probably not super practically useful, but you can do it to see how it works if you want. Now, you can request Insider from your like channel dashboard, and then we get an email, and we kind of try to turn that on as we have the opportunity to work with that creator.
And I think the direct answer to that is, this month we're working really closely with just a couple of content creators to get them launched and kind of walk them through the process so that they're in a good spot, and then also that we understand like what hangups are people going to hit, what problems are people going to run into just from like setting things up, that sort of thing. And so the hope is that over the next like probably like 2-3 weeks at the most, probably time, depending on with wiggle room there. Our hope is to really like figure out and automate this process, and then just at some point very very soon turn on the nozzle as high as we can go and let anybody who come and do it and set up their content.
So basically what you guys are doing is you guys are testing it right now, making sure everything's perfect before you let the general public do it, and then scaling your servers to the needed demand. Because you guys have all the infrastructure and you're just making sure everything works perfectly now.
Exactly.
And you have all the resources to handle more people. You just want to make sure it's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, you said that much better than us.
It's a very good summary.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's true though, and because there are bugs, there are things we work on and things we fix and things like that. But in terms of a functional platform, Mara, you've been using it for what now? About 2 weeks?
It works fine.
Yeah, like really pushing and stuff. And so we're kind of at like 95% in terms of functionality. There might be a little sneaky thing lurking here and there that needs to get fixed, and that's kind of where we're at right now. But yeah, our hope is to open the floodgates soon.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
It works internationally now. So if you're in Australia or Europe or Asia, you're fine. You can see it. It works fine. So
yeah, that was the product of 6 days of work. So crazy. Crazy right. 6 days. But yeah.
I guess that answer that question?
Yep, pretty much. So cool. So you guys were effectively Gmail from what, 2003?
Yes.
That's right.
So big.
That's right.
Gmail was really great in 2003, in case anybody forgot. It was really great.
True. It still is.
Okay. So I guess the other point is the other main question I would have is there are a lot of people watching this that probably aren't content creators. At least I know on like Mari's channel and my channel. So what's in it for like not people like Mari and myself?
That's a great question. So what's in it for people that are fans instead of content creators is that you're going to get the opportunity to support your favorite content creator, and in exchange for that, get something very specific through us. And that's either early access to content that you might get later, but if you want to be the first people to see it, you can get access to that
with better quality.
With better quality, and experience it with other like hardcore fans of your favorite channel. And then the other thing right now is that we give content creators the ability to add premium exclusive videos and content. So, assuming a channel does that, as a fan, you can get access to exclusive stuff that no one else has access to unless they're an insider.
And also you get to have those little messages on the insider tab where you go, hey guys, blah, 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 and they can respond. You can talk to them. And then there's also the channel chat room that I really like, in case a creator wants to hang out with people who are also watching the things and ask questions. And they have all these little things where they can do a hashtag question and then at you, and you can just click on that tab and answer all the questions people are asking you and stuff. So you can ask people.
Yeah, and so I guess that falls under the umbrella of like interaction, right? Where we're adding features to support better interaction.
Yeah, and I think going forward we're gonna add other things of that nature and caliber. I imagine the watch rooms will come back into more focus, so you can do private events with your fans, things like that. Just so really great ways to interact with your favorite content creators. Really the answer.
Yeah.
Now, is the channel chat thing like a persistent thing? Like that'll just be there forever, or does it wipe on a daily basis or something? Because I'm looking at it now and it's just Mari and you, actually, Mike.
Yeah. So the deal with channel chat is that's also very beta. So there's a history there. God, I could go into all kinds of technical details, but I won't as to why it's working the way it is. It's one of those things that's on my list to kind of circle back to. It should be persistent up to an extent. It's currently not as persistent as it should be. That is the answer.
Okay. So are you hoping to have it be like a consistent thing so like people can just I guess for me with the channel chat, I'm interested because I do a lot of like large group Skype chats with people.
Yeah, sure.
But say I log out or leave or whatever and come back, would like are you planning on having it be so I could scroll back to see like what I've missed chat wise or
yeah, sure. And the goal is to kind of keep a backlog of chat messages there within reason, right? Like I can't store a million messages from one chat room in my Redis backend, but the idea is to let it be a backlog within reason. And I don't know, we're really conflicted on, you know, if we should just have that channel chat, should like comments, you know, kind of like similar YouTube comments on videos, should those kind of make an appearance? So in terms of how we're going to move forward with the idea of like persistence and where should persistence be and that kind of thing, we're still kind of juggling those balls right now.
Okay, have you ever read Ready Player One? That's what it's like. It's like having a channel and then people being able to... So in Ready Player One, people were able to have channels where they have their stuff. That's what it's going to be like. Someone goes to your channel and there's a chat room. So anybody who's watching any video on my channel can talk to each other. And they'll say, oh, are you watching this series? Yeah, I'm really loving it. Oh, maybe I'll watch that next. What do you think of this joke when she said this? It'll be like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's it. And right now that functionality is present. Like it works across all the series you're watching. You know, everyone is there. But yeah, the backlog... work in progress.
I think, Mari, you were the first person.
Yeah.
You were the first person I know that has actually read that book. I'm disappointed that nobody else has. Oh, okay.
Actually, I did the audiobook that was narrated by Will Wheaton, so it was more special.
Will Wheaton?
I got to hear Will Wheaton tell me what was up.
Wow.
It's good. It's a good audiobook. It's not bad.
Okay. I guess moving on, are there any major features people should know about? I know there's that thing about watch rooms a little while back, but I kind of missed that. Are those coming back? Are they back already? And is there anything else?
Yeah. So, I guess the big feature that we're promoting right now is talking about is like the insider program and all that stuff. But in sort of like the series manager, the convenience of that, all that, but. Watch rooms were a big deal for us, I guess, last year, in that it was kind of the first thing we ever came out with. It was a really neat thing for people to come and hang out with their fans and show off a video. For anyone who didn't see it or don't know what that is, you can think of a live event similar to Twitch in that you're there with a chat room and you're kind of there with your fans, but instead of a live stream of what you're playing currently, you have a webcam, and then separately you have a embedded video where you can actually control where you can press play, pause, seek it around, and then everybody who's there in the actual event is that whatever you're doing as the content creator is synced out to everybody. So think of it almost like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or director's commentary on top of a YouTube video or one of our embedded premium videos.
So an example of what I did is that I took a video where I don't talk. I edited it. I played Outlast, and I edited Outlast in such a way where it was supposed to be found footage, and then I pretended like I was a crazy person who thought it was real, and then I talked to the people while I was watching it, and then like I was pausing it and being like, "Do you see this here?" So an actual practical use for it would be if somebody is a professional fighter game person or a Dota person and they're trying to explain a tactic to someone. So let's say if you are like a professional Street Fighter 4 player, I have friends who do that. If they're trying to like be like, oh, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this when you're doing a certain type of like competition, like, oh, like they control when the video plays and starts, so they can pause the video and everybody else's video pauses too when they're watching, and they say, so you see at this point, this is where I circle back, kick, flip, A, B, start. And then everyone's like, oh, let me ask you questions about that, and they can answer the questions live. Because when you're doing Twitch, you have to actually keep playing while you're doing it. Yep. I mean, you can't stop. So
that's really
it'll
cool,
be like
actually. That. I didn't think of it that way. I was trying to think of it in terms of like how I would use the watch room feature, and I'm at a loss personally. But I could see that being really useful for the speedrunning community, actually.
Definitely for speedrunning.
Yeah, for sure. And we had when Destiny was in beta, we had a creator who would come and like talk about all these strategies about playing Destiny, to people who hadn't played the game yet. So people would come to that his watch room events and like learn all they could about Destiny from a really low level, as he would pause and skip around and talk about strategy. So that was definitely a really good use case. Other people
it could also be useful for people who are planning raids.
Yeah, for sure. And people used it just to kind of like provide more insight into things they did or why, or like, oh, here's where this happened in the game and what's going on, that kind of stuff. So there's several use cases.
And one of our creators we worked with a lot, a guy named Arcus, he's in the Minecraft group, and he came in and got a lot of feedback on his videos from his fans. So that was a really interesting use case too, where he was just like, hey, I'm building this. This is how I'm talking about it. Critique me. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what other kind of videos you want to see, stuff like that. So that fan feedback was really interesting too.
Now, I know I'm jumping the gun on this one. I was going to ask about him later on, but I might as well ask now that you've brought him up. Is he still involved with GameWisp at all, or is he backed off because, big YouTubers are busy?
No, I mean, he's definitely still involved with us. We've had a great experience with him doing, the watch rooms. We've had a premium. He was literally our first content creator to walk through the sort of insider program process, and helped us learn a lot about how to do it right and do it the right way and stuff like that. So he's definitely been really involved, and so that's been awesome. We're really thankful for that. So he's been helpful in that he is like a little bit of a larger channel, and so he's brought that perspective on maybe different issues that he might face, stuff like that. Nothing. I'm trying to say that nothing. I don't know.
You're trying to say my penis is small? It's not big enough for you?
It's perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eli. No, I just it's interesting. Like we've you brought this up, Wander. Just like the different. There's a lot of different mentalities out there across channels, and just because you have a large amount of people or a small amount of people doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it right or wrong. We've talked to a lot of people that somehow have a lot of subscribers on YouTube that just aren't, I don't know, they're not passionate about it, or they just found themselves there, or that sort of thing. And and then you have other people that have less subscribers than others and are pushing out a ton of awesome content, have more engaged fan bases, are just super pumped about what they're putting out in their channels. And so I don't know.
It would be good for content creators who do very specific types of games with small followings but dedicated fan bases.
Yeah.
So like if you're super into an indie game or a certain type of indie game or platform or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, seeing as I was asking about Arcus, and you were talking earlier about server load and the reason why you're not getting a whole lot of people on the Insider program yet. So, have you talked to any other larger YouTubers? What's the game plan for even dealing with those? What if PewDiePie decided to come in and set up?
That'd be just fine. What?
Their servers scale easily.
Yeah,
it's all the programming. All they have to do is just plug in a new server.
That's the literal answer. Is we have. I'll say this word. We are in the cloud. We're actually in a couple of clouds. Several clouds. And so we have the ability to scale up our servers very quickly to handle load. And so we did that practically when things like Arcus did a watch room. We'd have thousands of people show up for the event, and we're able to scale and handle that kind of load. And so we
how fast are you able to scale?
So really quickly, we have a lot of that really automated and sort of ready to go, not turned on, but we can turn it on really fast. It's set up and ready to go. And then part of this thing is that, and goes back to why we're sort of rolling things out slowly, is that we say hey, we're going to bring on somebody with 1 million subscribers or something. We have those conversations ahead of time, and then make sure that we're ready to go whenever they're ready to start up their Insider or do a watch room, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So really quickly, yeah. And so I guess the final answer to that is we have the resources and the technology available to scale up as big as we need to. It's just a matter of bring in those
also
kind of
very
people in.
quickly. So if there is a downtime, it would only last very, very short time.
For sure, and it's really on our end. It's more kind of about control. Like it's not an issue if PewDiePie comes and wants to like use our program. It's an issue if he could just do that. We didn't know about it until it already happened, right? Like it's this idea that somebody big's coming. Let me take 30 minutes and make sure everything's ready and scaled up and it's all good to go, and then we can open the floodgates. That's a lot different than he comes, doesn't tell us, announces, and like 1 million people hit our server at one time, right?
So it would only take you 30 minutes to get ready, right?
I would, for most parts of the infrastructure, yes. Like,
and that's and most people wouldn't even see that. Like we keep track of load and then scale accordingly automatically a lot of times.
I don't think there would even be downtime depending on how it went down, how the situation went down. We would probably not have any downtime. They'd just be adding more stuff behind. So no, that's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Cool. I didn't want to read about your offices burning down from.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, like it's all. We're in Amazon's cloud network. We're in Azure. We're in at various other cloud networks. Whatever. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're built for it.
So you guys are effectively renting server space on other. Like you don't actually have a server farm in your basement.
No, we don't. Not today.
Okay.
Which is a good thing, because then if their servers get, killed, it's okay.
Yeah, and so anything that normally happens to services like these, all of that kind of stuff, like the backups and the, everybody's data and everybody's information and all that kind of stuff is secure. And in things like Amazon, which is where like Netflix runs out of, stuff like that. So, they have using them as our sort of backbone, we're able to do that scaling very quickly.
Yeah, so if there's a heat wave or anything, you guys don't have to worry about your data being lost or anything because it's backed up in several locations.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And in all those there's not 3 servers under somebody's desk, and that's GameWisp. Like, we're in all definitions of kind of what it means to be a modern web application. It's scalable, performant, and reliable. Like, yes, we tick all those boxes because whenever we can, we do all that as standard as we can, right? Like, this is the way you do it in industry. It's the way we do it. Now, there are a lot of pieces we have to build custom, but we do that still in leveraging cloud infrastructure.
Okay, that's good to know, because I was wondering about that, because a lot of people, whenever anyone's like, hey, somebody should make a YouTube alternative, the usual answer is nobody has the resources or basic server backend for that. But that's good to know that you guys at least have.
So I mentioned at the top of this podcast, it was very hard. I said that in a nebulous way. And kind of in my mind, what I was thinking is building a video platform is very hard. And even if you have a large degree of technical know-how and you know how to do it right, it's still extremely cost prohibitive. You just can't do it in your basement anymore. And if you'll allow me a small rant, you look at a platform like YouTube, and it's delivering a level of service now that everyone expects. You have to encode your video in multiple resolution. You have to deliver it this quickly. It has to be accessible worldwide. And so, if I'm starting up something in my basement with a couple servers under my desk, I can't tick those boxes. And so there's a large even cost and skill-based barrier to entry, and that's what makes this so difficult. And that's why you see so many YouTube alternatives that try to be open source or a crowd-developed effort. Hey, me and 20 developers are going to build a YouTube alternative. It just doesn't work. There has to be some sort of backing.
Well, the thing is that you guys all have PhDs and stuff.
We're
and
experts.
You also have investors who actually you convinced that this would work. You guys are a little bit more than you guys are still down with the people and stuff but you also had actual investors and stuff who actually were wow, that could work. I totally believe it. So if you guys got both the hey, I'm with you guys, but you also got investors and you guys have PhDs, they know what they're talking about, guys. They know what they're doing. So you don't have to feel they're going to just jump ship one day, because they actually have people to talk to and report back to and stuff.
And they hold us accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I forgot how to use.
Yeah, and all those things are really important. Technical expertise is important. The investment is super important. Like I said, you can be extremely talented, skilled, and have a wealth of experience. But if you can't back a business like this with money at the beginning, it's very, very, very hard.
So yeah, these guys they're not just script kiddies and stuff like that. You guys have all have fully full educations. You guys have done other projects and like been to like South America doing stuff and like sky cams or something. I don't know. You guys have all done like incredible things, and this isn't just a side project where you guys were just like, hey, we're gonna do it. You guys went and got investors. You went to conferences, showed that you had the ability to do it with the skills. Like, this is like a fully business. This isn't somebody who just decided to do it one day.
Yeah, and I mean that doesn't mean we don't make mistakes by any means, you know. But you're right. Like there's a lot of for the size of this company, there's a lot of brain power behind it, which is nice. You know, we have some really talented people outside of just Michael and I. You know, that do some great development for us. That do great work day to day, which is fantastic. So yeah, it's not by definition it can be a fly-by-night job. I mean, we've been around for a while, and you know, like any and you have to have that these skills and resources, or we'd have been dead months ago. Like we couldn't have afforded to pay the bill on just Mari's content. Like, you know, just like one, you just can't. It's cost prohibitive. So, you know, you have to have that sort of that background and that funding. It's very difficult.
Now, did you guys have the investors when you first put up that post on our Let's Play? Because I remember when. Okay, so like I have to ask about that. How did that even happen? Like, I saw the post and I was like, oh man, this looks really cool, but largely unfeasible. And then I heard later you got the investor. I was like, oh man, they're actually going to do this.
So I'll let Michael tell it, but man, that was weird. A weird time.
We've been through a long road, and this is, you know, I think maybe be familiar to anyone who's either, you know, made a YouTube channel and you've found some success. You know, you have a winding road, or starting a business, or whatever. But we started this company almost 3 years ago now, and back then we were building a cloud backup system for PC game saves. So basically Steam Cloud, but across all the places you can buy games. So, you know, if you bought it on Steam, bought it on Amazon, bought it at Best Buy in real life for some reason, we could back up your save game, keep it safe, all that kind of stuff.
You could share it really easy.
You could share it. That was the next thing. Like, so we launched that, and then we added this thing of like, oh, cool, you can swap save games, right? So you could, like, my Skyrim character is a elf archer, something like that, and yours is like a Nord warrior. So we're gonna, you know, since we're backing up and syncing to the cloud, we can just swap game saves, and then I can play your character, you can play mine, or maybe a Minecraft world is a better example. Anyway, point being, we had this web application where you could share these things, and then we thought, oh, it'd be cool to add the ability to link a video or pictures to that save, so you could show off your Minecraft world to everybody.
Provide context to the save game.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening was that we had a bunch of people, for some reason, linking YouTube videos and not downloading the product or sharing saves or anything. They're just like, I want to share this YouTube video and about gaming, and we had some things where you could sort of classify by game and genre and stuff like that. And so people were actually like leveraging those sort of discovery tools to like post their YouTube videos and try and get some traffic. We're like, what is going on here? And that caused us to turn our attention down this road of like gaming video. And we had all watched gaming video as entertainment up till then, but we didn't realize how massive this thing was. Like this huge movement of people that were just creating all of this content, you know, hundreds of thousands of gaming video channels and millions of people watching this stuff. And so we just sort of discovered the enormity of what gaming video is, and that caused us to start changing our direction. And
yeah, so when that post came up on Reddit, that was right in the middle of the time where our Let's Play was really frustrated with something YouTube had just done. I don't know, some content thing. I don't even know what it was anymore.
The content ID thing? Maybe it swapped. Yeah, so like, it was the managed.
And so people were really upset. I think with good reason. That was kind of alarming. And so I was like, you know, we're doing this video thing now with GameWisp, but it's kind of done, but it's kind of broken. But I'm just going to talk about it. And that was, and I don't know if it was a mistake, but the response was overwhelming.
Yeah, because we talked about it before in like December, as you mentioned at the top of this podcast, and then we had like a launch sort of thing in February 2014 where we had like a couple of people that were supposed to jump in, like 10, and we ended up having like 400.
Yeah, I was one of those. I remember that.
Yeah, and you know, to frame this with context, at the time we had no money. It was basically, there were kind of 4 of us involved with GameWisp, but in terms of development, it was Michael and I, and we were both grad students full time. So I was
Yeah.
like finishing my PhD, and Michael was finishing his master's, and it's like we could work on GameWisp like 2 hours in the middle of the night, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it, man. We couldn't keep up. And so just for some reason, despite that, you know, we still were able to kind of get into Techstars, which is an incubator. You know, we pitched this idea to them and showed them what we had, and against all odds, and perhaps even against common sense, they accepted us.
Yeah, and you know, I think I would stop and just say, you know, this is a great time for us to thank our Let's Play. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
seriously, like if we had not, you know, if you guys had not responded with coming to check out the site, linking YouTube, you know, sharing, you know, series and playlists and videos and all this kind of stuff, like that was a huge part of why we got into Techstars program, which allowed us to sort of quit our jobs and go full time on GameWisp, but also in the end, you know, get the investment we've had. And so, you know, we're like super, you know, thankful for that. Like it's just that totally changed our lives.
I'm gonna go even further into probably without that response, without our Let's Play, you know, being interested, being willing to try something new and broken, you know, or whatever it was, like we probably wouldn't exist.
No, yeah, definitely not.
And that's kind of, you mentioned earlier that like I'm on our Let's Play a lot, you know, kind of responding to stuff, and I'm on it, you know, on it reading things every day or whatever. It's like part of that is just kind of that gratitude, right? It's like, you know, I want to be involved in this community because in a lot of reasons they're very responsible. For sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of gets us to Techstars, going through that, and that's how we kind of, you know, we piggyback some investment off of that, able to do this full time, and now we're building this platform.
Yeah. That's kind of the story that we've had, and it's been a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of times where we just go like, God, like, you know, like back in when we launched the thing and couldn't keep up, and it's like, oh, how the heck are we gonna like do this for real, you know? And
it was soul crushing, man.
Yeah,
it was soul crushing.
You know, bugs that didn't get fixed for weeks and things
Yeah.
like that, and you know, now as Mari, you know, said earlier, you know, we're up like all the time, like we work 12 hours a day on this thing, you know, and so it's just a whole different world, you know, going from about the same time last year where we were about to launch this to where we are now. It's just totally different. So, you know, having that investment makes a big deal, you know, and makes a big difference. You know, it allows us to go have conversations too with people at Maker or people at Machinima or people at Full Screen or whatever, and just go like, hey, like, what are you guys thinking? Here's what we're trying to build. Like, what's, you know, that sort of thing. Or how can we, you know, and not to say that we're even like working with them, because we're not, but just like having those, the ability to like people take you seriously, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, you're not just like some guys, you're, you know, a company, and you've got like a pedigree behind you and interesting people like pushing you forward. Really helps us and sort of propels us, accelerates us forward and into the ability to actually, you know, accomplish the vision we have for what we're doing.
Okay. I guess speaking of networks and YouTube, so before we started this, you mentioned that YouTube really didn't interact with you that much. So, like, do they just not acknowledge your existence, or is it super bare minimum?
So I guess like what we meant by that was, you know, they haven't like, you know, we don't talk to them all the time or anything like that, but we have actually some, you know, contacts over at YouTube, in YouTube, the partner side of things, and the sort of like, you know, we've had a couple of meetings with people in the sort of like gaming side of YouTube as well. Just you know, we're just trying to build relationships there. So, you know, there's been little things like, you know, problems we've had with the YouTube API that they've fixed, or, you know, the fact that like some person had camped youtube.com/GameWisp, you know, that like for 5 years and never done anything with it for some reason. And so, you know, we were able to work with them to get that channel. You know, stuff like that has been great, but you know, they acknowledge that we exist. I think they're not, you know, they're I guess waiting to see how we progress as well. But they've been really warm to us. You know, I don't think they've been anything less than great so far. At least the people we've worked with and talked with. But you know, there hasn't been, you know, on the other side of that, there hasn't been any like specific, you know, partnership that we've worked out with them or anything like that. You know, we're you know, asking them. You know, there's things like in your annotations you can link to sites like Patreon or Kickstarter or Twitch or whatever. You know, from a fundraising perspective. And so, you know, we're working on what does it mean for us to be, you know, included in that list, you know, things like that. So, But there's not in any way movement on their side to sort of like do anything negative towards us at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we coexist with YouTube. Like, I think it's a pipe dream to assume that you can like beat YouTube in video, or be a YouTube competitor that's like hugely successful and overthrows YouTube. I don't think that's the world we live in anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm cynical, but that's from my experience is what I've seen. And so, we supplement YouTube, content that's pushed to GameWisp eventually ends up on YouTube because we know that's what's going to drive growth and views. Like GameWisp itself cannot be a channel grower like YouTube can.
Yeah, and I think like the cool thing about that is we're not going to necessarily replace YouTube. Like our mission statement is not to be the gaming YouTube, but rather like tools for gaming video creators. And so, if Yahoo decides to put out a gaming platform, or if Microsoft does, or a video platform, or Facebook's working on their video product, like can we jump in the ecosystem and then give you the tools in order to say I'm going to push to YouTube and Facebook, so I think that's kind of our hope is that we fit sort of next to YouTube in the ecosystem, not as a competitor,
complementary to it.
Yeah, complementary, augmentation. These words.
Okay. And you also mentioned networks, and I was going to ask about that. Like, have any of the larger networks ever talked to you? Like, Union for Gamers, Polaris. God, I don't actually know any other networks. I'm kind of anti-network there. But like, do you guys have a plan for eventually working with them somehow, or is that just like far future? We'll think about it when somebody decides to drop some bomb on us, kind of like the PewDiePie thing.
Well, so we've had conversations with people at different networks, from a business development side of like, hey, let's, we want to show you what we got.
You guys are right next to a network that I won't say physically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are. We should talk to them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so, there's things like conversations we've had with people like that where we can go, this is what we're building. And so, our interest is that a lot of content creators are on networks, and so, from our conversations with the people at networks, I've found at least, I'm the one that's had these conversations, is that there's folks working at them that really do care about their channels and people that they manage. And, I've heard a lot of people that are really frustrated that they don't have the sort of manpower to give value across all the tens of thousands of channels that they've decided to bring into their fold. And so I think, sort of the warmness to those conversations that we've had is that they're looking for automated tools and things that they can offer as a part of their platform offerings, or people that they can work with to try and provide value to people that have decided to be on a network and aren't PewDiePie, something like that. So, our hope is that we work with networks at some point in a way that also lets you work with us. Like right now, we have no contracts with networks. Like none of the revenue that comes out of your channel on GameWisp goes to anybody but you. After that we talked about earlier, and so it's not like your YouTube contract applies to us necessarily. I can't speak for your specific contract, obviously, but like, so that's one thing. But at the same time, like, if we can, use the method of a network to reach more content creators and save them time and help make them more money, letting the network be the distribution, way that people find out about us, like I think that can be positive for the ecosystem.
Okay. No, I think it can go both ways. Yeah, I think there are symbiotic relationships there that can be beneficial for creators, which is what we care about, right? Like, we're not going to make a decision that's, going to come down the line and be like, well, this is really harmful for creators, or this doesn't work, or this doesn't promote our mission of like helping creators. Like, our mission isn't help MCNs help creators. But if we have to go through, if going through MCNs makes sense in some way, which I can't think of one now, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. But if that makes sense in some way, that could be something we do.
Yeah. Because I'll say this: there are people in the ecosystem that have that can I don't know how to say this democratically, but the people that don't understand the ecosystem can come up with things that will ultimately harm content creators, and we will not work with people that do that. And so,
who do what?
He's trying to be vague.
I'm trying to be vague, but people, we've talked to many people who say, oh, you know, gaming video is big and I want to do this. And we go, that's harmful to a content creator. And so we talked to a lot of people that have ideas about that, you know, in different places.
Oh, okay, you're not.
You know,
okay.
Yeah. It's not like, so, you know, we've said, hey, we're not going to, you know, engage in business with you because you're, you know, this is not going to be good for the people that we're trying to support, that kind of thing. And so, whether that's a network, whether that's an individual or another business, like it's just not in our values to work with people like that, I guess.
Yeah, I wish we could put specific examples on it, but we probably shouldn't. Something like, here's a blue sky idea. I'm gonna apply the Comcast cable TV model to gaming video. It's like, I don't know if we're gonna side with that. That's totally made up.
Yeah.
But like, you know, coming up with
outdated ideas.
Yeah, you see that a lot. You know, in any kind of new media, new platform, you see people try to apply outdated, tried and true ideas that have made money in the past to something new, and it doesn't work. We grappled with that a lot from people when we were starting out. It's like, well, what's your business model? Well, that doesn't seem right. You know, that doesn't work like X entertainment industry. And, you know, but hey, look, this works, man. Like this is what's friendly and this is what works. And this is how it should be done. We think. And
a lot of people don't realize that the newer generation is a lot more resistant to being forced to pay something. But if you give them the option to pay for it, there will be some people who are willing to pay more, and then other people who are not, because people don't like being forced to do anything.
That's a mind-boggling concept.
We grew up in a recession. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Like,
yeah.
People, that's the mindset. I don't want to pay a flat fee unless I'm like given an incentive to give you money. Otherwise, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'll use the term people in air quotes. Find it kind of really surprising or off-putting that platforms like Patreon or even like ours with the tipping mechanisms we have, like see payments above and beyond the base rate. It's like, hey, look, people that want to buy things aren't like all selfish and self-serving and want to get the most they can for the least money. Like, you know, people want to help and support things they care about. And, you know, content creators are part of that. And you can see this trend happening. See, like the writing's on the wall. Like, how can you not believe this? And that'll die. Those conventions will go away.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't actually know that people were bothering you about that sort of thing, but it's good to know that you, well, have morals.
Well, man,
try to.
There are a million ideas. Everybody has ideas. Everybody. And when you're doing something in a space, I'm not going to trump up our own self-importance or anything, but like, you know, we're doing something, it's a little different. It's catering to like an interesting niche and stuff like that. Like a lot of people want to crack this nut. Like they want to figure out how to extract value from a new and growing entertainment medium such as gaming video. Like it's big. How do we make all kinds of money? And so and I'm not saying people with that to make that statement don't have just intentions. I'm just saying that like a lot of really crazy business models come out. And
yeah.
So, you know, you hear them all over the place. If you're in the industry.
And I think that's the big thing too is a lot of people we talk to too don't have like some malicious intent. It's just sort of like, I'm going to apply this old world business model. Yeah. And so that's been really interesting to navigate.
Okay. Now earlier you mentioned, I'm going to go off topic on this one,
sure.
Or at least switch directions. So you mentioned earlier that you're not aiming to like promote people that much. It's mostly just like helping people with like fan funding and stuff. I think that's what you said like a couple minutes ago, right?
So yeah, so we think there are two major problems to solve in the gaming video space. One is what we call discovery, which is growth and finding your channel and growing your channel and fans finding new content, stuff like that. That's like the discovery side. And then the other side of it is kind of what we call engagement, I guess. And so is a good category for it. And so that's stuff like finding new ways to interact with your fans, giving fans opportunity to get access to the premium content, early access, or the live appearances a lot of YouTubers are doing at PAXs and stuff like that, where they're sort of like engaging with fans in meaningful ways. And so we took a look at both of those problems and decided to focus on engagement. we like the idea of solving the discovery problem because that's really important to a lot of people. There's a lot of cool things you can do around discovery with gaming, and you kind of see us take a stab at it if you go to our website and go.
Yeah,
there's
I'm
a
looking
tab
at the
called
Explore page.
Yeah, and so you can go look by like genre or look, find a specific game and look at, Let's Plays for that particular game or, stuff for, even on like a series page on GameWisp, we have stuff like other stuff on GameWisp or, related content. So there's like things that we're like taking a tiny stab at for the discovery
You guys are
piece.
working on channel trailers too, right?
Yeah, totally. So that's, where you can put up a trailer, say, hey, this is my channel and this is why you should watch me or support me. But those pieces are things where like we took an initial stab at and we're like, here's like a beta solution, here it is. And now, but really like our big focus, because we're small, because we're having to like really focus on one particular thing, is this engagement side. And so all of that to say is, yeah, like if you're looking to say like, I really want to grow my channel, like GameWisp is not the place for you right now.
It's
like,
not.
we do things to like SEO and, bring traffic to people's videos and channels and stuff like that as much as we can, but we don't spend like 12 hours a day working on that. Whereas, we try to spend 12 hours a day or whatever working on things that are going to make your life easier, make, easier to interact with fans, make it easier for fans to support you and give them stuff back for supporting you.
Yeah, okay. I have a strong academic interest in solving the discovery problem just because it's so hard. It's so hard. And I think it's a very difficult thing to do really well. And I hope there comes a time where GameWisp is like, it's making money, it's sustainable, people are using it, it's everybody's happy, where I can sit down and say, I want to spend 6 months and try to solve the discovery problem. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point. I hope to. I think, especially in gaming video, there's so much. I'm going to go off on a weird bird walk here and get all sciencey, but like, there's so much structured data around gaming video in terms of the game that's being played, the genre, publisher even, or like the style and personality of the person playing the game. Like, there's a lot of really structured data around that you might necessarily have around an arbitrary YouTube video.
Right.
And so thinking about discovery, for a niche topic like gaming video, it's like, how do we solve that problem with the structured data? How do we make it smarter? How do we do it better?
Yeah,
like,
it seems solvable, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like, but it's tough. It's so tough.
It's tantalizing.
Yeah, it's tantalizing, but it's really tough. And so I hope there comes a time when we can like really put some manpower behind it and see what happens. But that is not in the roadmap currently.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I was specifically looking at the sci-fi page and, apart from just, the related channels, which is actually kind of cool, and I see a number of familiar faces, but I was also going to ask about, why, say, EA Sports Fight Night was under the sci-fi tab. But if you're getting to that later, then I totally understand.
Gotten to the epilogue of EA Sports Fight Night?
Yeah, where it's there's obviously a space-time continuum jump there, dude, and you fight Muhammad Ali. So it's totally beta.
Clearly, I need to go play some Fight Night if that's a feature.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't seen the Cthulhu Easter egg?
No, so the way we seeded all that data was working with Giant Bomb and their API, and so that is the one piece of the website we stick a big red beta text on top of, even in the interface, because we pulled from Giant Bomb and we interact with their API to see like what games fit in what categories, and so we haven't done even like our own cleanup pass on that yet.
It can only be as good. It can only be as good as the data from Giant. So I'll tell you now that on Giant Bomb's API, that probably tells me that Fight Night is somehow classified as sci-fi. I don't know why. But
who knows?
That is silly. Okay.
It's silly.
Let's see. Apart from that, I'm running out of questions at least. Oh, you know what? You mentioned the roadmap. Is there actually like a roadmap that like people can see? Like, what is even up and coming with GameWisp apart from opening it up to people, or is it mostly just making sure that everybody can do it and then going there?
So that's obviously the first thing on our roadmap is getting from where we are to the point where anybody can come along if they have a channel, open up an insider program, offer that to their fans. That's like our number one first priority above all. And then, so we don't have a published roadmap past that point anywhere. I think, it's something we've anticipated adding pretty soon. And I think we're going to add that. as soon as we can. I think one of the big things that we just kind of finished up a huge development cycle to get to the point where we can get to this, start adding people and bringing people through the platform. And so I think that's going to free up Eli a lot more to write some blog posts about what's going on in dev. And so anyway, that's kind of circling around the problem. But basically, we've got some things ahead. Number one is, I think our goal is to make the insider program deeper. That's a big thing for us. So we've automated premium content, early access content. Our goal is to continue to add more benefits that you can offer to your fans that are also automated. So are there ways for us to, say you want to offer a T-shirt, if someone pays you more than $20 or something like that, then can we automate that so that you offer a particular T-shirt and it just gets sent off to Spreadshirt and ends up in somebody's
that'd be
mailbox.
so awesome.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
We're doing the best we can.
So things like that.
I was going to ask
right?
about that.
Yeah, and so those are the kind of things that we're thinking about in the roadmap. It's not like, oh, how can we add this new thingy, but rather, and that goes back to the point of engagement and discovery, where it's like we don't want to spend time figuring out how to classify Fight Night when we could spend time figuring out how to automatically send a T-shirt to a sponsor, so that you don't have to do that. You're not like buying T-shirts and going to the post office, spending an hour or two doing that when you could be making awesome gaming video content as a creator. And so so the roadmap really is deepening those sorts of features. I think the other thing that we've learned, over the last couple of years is that we're gonna add more people. We're gonna bring in 100 content creators or something, and the problems that is gonna cause, as far as like, how do we, they're gonna not dredge up, but they're gonna use the system differently than we anticipated. 100 people using it is different than one person using it, and so we want to have space available for us to go. How do we make sure everybody has an awesome experience, whether you have 100 followers on YouTube or a million or whatever, or 37 million or whatever.
37.
But really, that's our main focus, is how do we build out features that you can offer to your fans to make your life easier.
Yeah, and a core driving philosophy is like, we don't want to add a feature unless it's automatable. We don't want to add a benefit you can give to your fans unless we can fully, or at least like 95% automate that thing. Otherwise, we're just creating work for you, and there are already platforms that create work for you. So we don't want to do that. So that's the driving philosophy, and just the fact that Mario was like, oh, that T-shirt thing would be so cool, right? So like I've bookmarked that now in my mind. Like that's something that we might look into
because I
deeper.
already send T-shirts to people who donate a certain amount, so that would be a lot easier.
Yeah, or like a lot of content creators want to give out like information for servers. Hey, here's a Minecraft server. Here are the credentials for that. Like, can they do that automatically? If they subscribe at $10, can we just email that person some credentials? So, it's just thinking through how to do stuff like that in a way that makes the most sense for the most people.
Yeah.
Because on Patreon, it's such even though they're like, oh, pick it for this many people, but I'm like, I still have to make my own thing. The only thing you do for me is just set it up so it goes to a certain amount of people when I email them.
Yeah.
It's just not good for me or for the stuff I make.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and so if we can take that opinion and someone says, oh man, I can do this and offer this and it saves me time, like that's the win.
For sure. And so, roadmap beyond that is, I think we have a vision where we allow people to sort of do some more management for their channel, in automatic ways. Like it goes back to that, but even like stuff like new videos coming out, and not just emails your followers, but you could automate a tweet about it, automate a Facebook post, stuff like that.
Well, I'll just have you know that like since launching with GameWisp, I've been a lot less stressed out about automated uploads because I know it's going to the insiders, and I also know that like it's gonna go up, and there hasn't been a hitch yet. Like every time I check, I'm like, oh, it's there, ready to go. Don't have to worry.
Yeah, and so that's I think that's I'm glad that you feel that way. You know, just because I guess that it goes back to, I don't know. We don't want you guys to have to worry about that, and we don't want to add a ton of features so that like consistent performance degrades in any way. And so our roadmap, like I said, yeah, definitely along those lines. And that may we may add and change that. We probably will formalize that a little bit and maybe even post that somewhere. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and we try to be really methodical about adding things. Like one of the one of the main things we heard when we first talked to people about, oh, we're gonna push your stuff to YouTube and all this stuff. Like, I don't know if you'll censor this on the Let's Play podcast, but the main thing we got was, don't fuck this up. like if you're gonna be interacting with my YouTube, like, and adding stuff and moving things and sucking things in, like if you screw this up one time, like you've lost my service or myself. You've lost me as a customer or whatever. I totally relate to that. Like,
well, like I remember, I was like, hey, I need this to come out at exactly this time because this is the time that I know that it goes out. Because this was the first time it was being pushed, and I was like, guys, is it gonna get pushed? Is it pushing? Is it gonna get pushed? And you're like, okay, it's gonna happen. Relax. I was like, okay, but is it going to happen? So I need to know. And then it's always been exactly when I wanted it to. So I'm psychotic. When you're like a content creator, you're like psychotic about exactly when a video is going to be released and how the thumbnail looks and all this other stuff. Like, you got to make sure it's perfect. Otherwise, you lose that initial boost for whatever you're doing. So
yeah,
we try to be mindful of that for sure. And of any feature, like that core underlying philosophy of like don't mess this up is kind of going to be where we're coming from.
That's awesome. All right. I guess I've got two questions left. We're definitely getting to the end of this. So right. I guess the first one is I know I kind of hounded you on this earlier, but like a number of people watching this are going to want to know when they really should start looking at GameWisp. Would you say like 3 months from now, people should really start trying to like sign up and get into the insider program, or 6 months from now, or a year from now?
No, shorter than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks.
Okay, well, I'll say this. Right now, you can sign on to the site, link your YouTube, and request insider. And there's just like, there's no harm or foul in that. What that does is,
I in fact encourage you to do that. Yeah.
It marks you in our database as you've requested insider, and it sends me an email. And it says, hey, so-and-so wants to be an insider. And so what I do with those emails is I just keep them, I've stored them, and like when it comes time to crank up the volume a little bit, like I'm going to go down that list and look for people that have subscribed. And I mean,
yeah.
And when is that going to be?
March.
And that's in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's so I'm making it that just like it's going to be in March. Like it's not like 6 months from now, we're going to have something ready for everybody. It's like, we're going to push out probably, 2, 3, 4 more people individually. And then we're going to be really, really close to being ready, just like let anybody come in the door and make things happen.
And what we'll do before that is, I'll look at those insider requests and we'll turn them on in batches. Hey, it's Monday. And this isn't like weeks. I'm saying like, oh, it's Monday this week. Let's turn on 5 insiders and see what happens. Oh, that went pretty well. Let's turn on 5 more on Thursday.
Right. That's the difference, right? It's going to be like we're doing like 1 or 2 a week right now, hopefully, and then, then it's going to be 5 a week, or then up to 10 a week, and then 20 a week, and then just anybody can come do it. That's kind of the progression, and that's going to go.
And
really quickly,
getting that list of emails that helps you understand what you need to do to be prepared, right?
Exactly. And that's a big thing is that, the more people that we have come and express interest, the more we can gauge what our, server load is going to be and how quickly and large we need to scale the site. And so, I would recommend, it may sound like shameless self-promotion, but it's not, if you can come and express interest in doing an insider program, that'd be really helpful to us, and it's going to get you definitely in line to be one of the first people in the door.
Do you know how long the line is now?
I think we have, like, as far as like insider requests, we have 32. So I checked that this morning. I check that every day. So that's kind of what the line looks like. And so obviously, if you jump in now, you're going to be in maybe the first couple waves of that, and that's that's very cool. And it doesn't matter what size channel you have either. Like if you're consistently pushing videos, if you have subscribers on YouTube, and you think that they some of them, one of them even, may be willing to support you monthly. Like, you may be surprised that you should definitely check out what we've got. Sign up, add your insider.
Just in case you guys are wondering the effectiveness of getting people to sign up with GameWisp, I have 24 right now, and this is like, people don't even know what GameWisp is yet until I explained it to them on the channel.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, people seem to really enjoy the service. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been really great. The response for your channel has been awesome for us. And what I would recommend is, and something that we're still figuring out, is like, so once you Mari, like, turn on Insider, you did a little video you put on YouTube where you talked to Michael about what it was and how it worked. And that was a big promotional bump, I think, for GameWisp in general. And one of the things we're trying to figure out before we sort of open the floodgates is, like, it's not just signing up for GameWisp, right? Like, we want to figure out the steps that make you as a creator, that maximizes your success. And so one of those things might be like, hey, you should make a little video and put it on your YouTube channel. Do that. And, we could tell you to do that, some kind of list of instructions for how to be successful, or whatever. Yeah. But it takes figuring that out, right? We have to sit down and see and experiment and see what works and what doesn't. And so that's a non-technical thing we're doing in this process.
Well, so what I did with Michael is that I did like a tutorial showing, hey, these are all the things that if you signed up, you would be able to see and do. Like how I said before, you get to hire a higher end video, you get to see it early. You get to have all these features. Like, you gotta like explain all the things. Because with Patreon, you're like, hey, support me, and I guess whatever. But with this one, you get all these default things that they're gonna get automatically.
Yeah, for sure.
And as far as everybody watching or listening to this goes, I'm actually gonna have a link to that video, just because.
Cool.
You can use the video as the background video if you want.
I think this podcast goes a little long. We'd have to loop it
like okay.
20 times. I think it'll just
Sorry, guys.
Infinite repeat. Yeah.
Okay. I guess the last question is, and I've been holding off on this one, maybe should have talked about it earlier, but you mentioned March for when this is being rolled out. Now, the other thing in March is PAX East, and you said you wanted to do this before PAX, so I figured, what is your guys' plan for PAX? Do you have, like, a booth, or are you just going to be running around, like, grabbing people, or what's the plan for PAX with GameWisp?
I wish we were just running
around. We actually
just
run around with a van and abduct people.
On service. No, we are actually going to be at PAX East with a big relative booth.
Big for us.
Yeah, we've got a 10 by 20. So
we're gonna do cartwheels.
Right, you will. Eli will be there. I'll be there. Andrew will be there. Jesse, Greg. Anybody else? Rusty. I don't know. All these people, you may have heard some of their names. Greg Blogs does our Twitter. He's the master of the tweets. And then Andrews, you probably have heard, maybe you've seen emails from him or posts on our Let's Play. But anyway, we'd love for you, if you're going to be at PAX East, to come out and come say hi to us in person. We're going to have a few things going on in the booth. Number one, we're going to have space for content creators to hold autograph sessions with fans. So that's a cool thing. So number one, if you are interested in doing that, we have some slots available for that. So you can email us. I don't know, it's just info@gamewisp.com. But we're gonna have a few people in the booth just there for fans to meet and greet. We're gonna have demos of GameWisp. Some of our unreleased features we'll have there. We'll have just to show off, or just some of the like back end stuff that maybe you can't see until you have your insider program active. You can come check that out. We're gonna be there and
giving out some swag.
We got some sweet T-shirts and some these really cool postcards. So we gave these postcards out at PAX South, specifically designed for PAX South, and we've got some new ones that we're excited about that are going to debut at PAX East. So if you want to come collect them all, then you can do that there. But that's our plan. So come check it out. Yeah.
And you'll be there for all 3 days?
Definitely. We'll be there all 3 days. and you know, I don't think they've like put out the map yet or whatever, but
Yeah,
you
they
can find
haven't.
us.
No information.
Yeah.
I assume it would not be kosher for me to try and dibs one of those T-shirts before PAX even starts.
Why don't you talk to us offline, Mr. Bot?
Oh,
Yeah.
See what we can
Okay.
do.
The shirts are super soft.
I think we can make that happen. I think we can make
Okay.
that happen.
For all your graciousness for
Yeah,
not
that's right.
podcast.
They are very
it seems
soft.
like a
and
fair
they're-
trade.
They're good. So
Okay.
maybe they'll be for sale one day. I don't know.
Wow.
Anyway, but for
That'd
you,
be cool.
you got one for free. It's
All
cool.
right.
Okay. But
Okay.
yeah, so we're excited about PAX. We had a great time at PAX South. We did RTX last year. I went to PAX Prime and ran around and talked to people. So hopefully we'll be at all the things here.
All the things.
Except Minecon. We're not going to Minecon. It's too far away. Maybe next year. But
I love it.
maybe in Nashville next year. Who knows where it's going to be. Anyway.
Okay. I guess the last question, completely unrelated to GameWisp, except for you two. Just to humanize you guys a bit and make this a little bit less of a promotional podcast. What are your guys' favorite games, and what games are you looking forward to in 2015?
Eli, you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So I got a few things swimming around. I play games really behind schedule, right? So like, I did grad school, did my PhD, and it's like a time warp. You miss all games, you miss all movies, you miss anything that happens in that 5 year span. So I have to go back and play stuff that's old. Like I just finished Fallout New Vegas. That was exciting. But yeah, so on the topic, I'm a big Civ fan. I like Civilizations series. I was big into Civ 5, and then Beyond Earth came out, and I played it. It broke my heart, and broke my heart. Beyond Earth did. And now Sid Meier's releasing starships, right?
Yeah.
Spaceships, battleships, and he's got me on the hook again. Like I've seen the videos, I've seen like the live streams or whatever where he talks to Jake Solomon, and I'm like, gotta have it, gotta have that game. So that's the big one I'm excited for in terms of gaming, and really like I pick up a bunch of indies, and so I'm always looking for something new and exciting from the indie space. So hopefully I don't get let down 2015 from you.
That was good.
That's where I'm at.
That's good. I don't know. I spent a lot more time playing like big titles, which is maybe, I don't know if that's gonna.
Casual.
Yeah, Eli's shaking his head at me, but so like, I don't know. Like I'm about to finish up BioShock Infinite, so I'm a little behind on that. But I'm playing a lot of Destiny right now. Like a lot of Destiny. A lot of my buddies are big into that. So my wife graciously bought me a Xbox One for Christmas.
It's love, friends.
That's right, it's love. And so I've been playing that with a lot of friends. I've enjoyed that. So I guess I'm kind of a casual person with Destiny. Not super casual, but I'm not like a level 32 yet or whatever. Like I'm still working on it. So I think my 2015 is gonna be that. Hopefully the new expansions for that will be really cool. I played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, so I'm looking forward to I think PC or Assassin's Creed Rogue is coming out on PC, and that kind of uses the same engine and all that. So when that comes out soon, I'm going to pick that up because I really enjoyed Black Flag a lot. And then I don't know, I just pick up old games a lot sometimes, like Dark Forces or JK2, stuff like that. I'm excited about playing that. And gosh, GOG just came out with the loves of my life.
Oh, the Star
X-Wing
Wars
vs. TIE
bundle?
Fighter
Oh,
and X-Wing Alliance. And my first big online gaming experience was playing those games with I had a clan. I was in a clan called United Pilots Alliance.
Do people even do clans anymore?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
I'm on a clan for Destiny, but UPA we were big, man. We had 350 people in it.
Wow.
We had wings and squadrons and squadron leaders and executive officers and the Supreme Council and all this kind of stuff. Back in the day when the MSN Gaming Zone, some of you out there may not even know what the heck that is. That's where you played game. That's where you played multiplayer game. It was kind of like the GameSpy arcade back in the day. Or
we're gonna have to reel you back in.
Yeah, I'm just off. But that was just a fun bonding experience and a lot of fun. So I'm hopeful that I can get some multiplayer going back in those games in the next few weeks, and bust out my TIE Fighter. Take some.
What are you playing, Wander? What are you excited for?
Let's see. My problem is
when we think that you're Let's Playing.
yeah, like anything that I'm Let's Playing. The problem is like I'm very focused on what's coming out within the next 2 weeks, which is kind of a mess. But like I pretty much have to. Oh, crap. Well, I'm glad I just checked. So I'm like really big into roguelikes, so I really like Cavern Kings, Vagante, Binding of Isaac, Tower of Guns, actually. Though that came out last year, but that's probably my favorite game.
It is a great name for a game.
It is a really, really cool name and a really cool game. But so like upcoming, it's gonna be like Catacomb Kings, and it's like I don't remember what the other one's called. It started with an O. I'm forgetting, but yeah, those are like the up and coming ones, and I don't even pay attention to AAA anymore. Oh, you know what? No, I know what I'm really looking forward to. No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Mara, you feeling this question? We'll round this out here.
What have I been playing?
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to more Life is Strange. That game is incredible.
Right. Wow.
Okay, so everyone's like, oh, whatever, it's just another story-based game. I'm like, no, you're wrong. It's amazing.
Dude, I love
let
story-based
me tell
games.
you why.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, I don't get it. I'm like, no, let me tell you about the skull from, like, Madagascar. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah. No, it was really fun. I watched Let's Plays on that. I watched yours. I watched a couple others. Like, yeah, it's
Did
good.
you see all my theory videos where I was like, let me tell you this brain trip, and everyone's like, whatever, and then at the end they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that blue jay, man, it's got significance.
The blue jay, the skull, dude, you guys, no one believed me, and I was like, no, guys, come on.
Shun the non-believers. Shun. All right.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. I guess the final section is where can we find you guys? Twitter, Reddit, stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. So we've got a few places that you can find us. Twitter.com/GameWisp, Reddit.com/r/GameWisp. We've got a Facebook if you're into that. Facebook.com/GameWisp. We have a LinkedIn. I'm just kidding.
We have a website, GameWisp.com?
Yeah, we have a website. We have a company. GameWisp.com. You can find us there. We have a blog.gamewisp.com. There's a lot of things to plug, but most mornings this week has been off because there's been an ice storm here, but we've been working from home. But we do a thing called Morning Coffee at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we stream on Twitch. So twitch.tv/GameWisp, and basically
I didn't even know this.
Yeah, if you watch our Twitter, we send out tweets when we do it. Some mornings we miss it because stuff comes up. We try to do it every morning, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and we'll specifically talk about what we're working on from a development standpoint and marketing standpoint in the morning, and answer questions, stuff like that. It's not super prime time for like streamers, but we're not really trying to do that. We're just trying to be available to fans and creators. So you can come by our Twitch in the morning.
Keep it really brief, like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, super brief. So, and if you want to find out about the inner workings of a startup, and what our days look like, we kind of talk about that too. Yeah. So, those are all of our things. Once again, if you want to, you can sign up on the site today, create a channel, and request your insider, and then, we'll get you in as soon as possible, honestly. And then, if you have any direct questions, we're available on our Reddit, on info@gamewisp.com. So a couple of us watch that email address.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if you do an our Let's Play post about this podcast, we'll be there.
Yeah,
lurking in the shadows.
Right.
So,
I just want to make it clear, I've never received any money from GameWisp. I only say this because of the current atmosphere in video game journalism, so never received any money from them or any sort of incentives or anything.
Nope, she was just a big enough sucker to trash first.
Worked out great. So
yeah.
Thank you very much for trying it out.
Yeah, and thank you, Wander, for having us on. This is great. Hopefully, it's not too self-promoting. I don't know. We try to be blatantly honest, but like Michael said, if you got any questions, we're pretty transparent. You can ask us anything. Anybody can. We'll answer if we can.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. Honestly, when I put up it wasn't even like before the first podcast came out, when I was just kind of like putting out feelers for like, hey, is anybody interested? You were one of the first people, and I was actually really sad that I missed it. Though I'm kind of glad I didn't do like the first podcast with you guys, because that'd be ridiculous. But I was like scrolling through my messages. I had like 300 messages by the time all both podcasts plus the feelers plus like the early stuff went through. So it's like, all right, scrolling through. All right, most of this is junk. Oh wait, that's GameWisp. Okay, let's actually pay attention to this one.
You should have you have a spreadsheet, don't you?
I have a sign up list, and I don't think I've actually said this during the podcast, but I do have a sign up list. But they just
don't tell them. Then you'll be don't tell
them. Well, I mean, it's on the subreddit sidebar, so
yeah, put a little barrier to entry for that. Like
you gotta come to the subreddit.
Yeah,
you have to come to the subreddit and have a good mic.
I vet people, but I actually have to say, in your guys' credit, you know, you were worried about us starting like 45 minutes late. This was the easiest podcast for me to organize out of the 3 that I've done thus far, by like a long shot.
That's good.
Yay, we're semi-professional.
Oh, and I just want to add that like Wanderbots is not giving me favoritism right now. I was just the person who works closest with GameWisp, so just because I'm in 2 podcasts close together, that doesn't mean he actually hates me. So like, don't worry about that. Like, if you feel like I'm on the waiting list, how come she got to go twice within 3? Like, no, it's okay. Just okay. It's not like that. It just happened to be the circumstance. Yep. Just want to make sure that no one gets accused of anything.
No, man, Mari's on the level. She's legit.
All right.
I just don't want anyone to, like, if you guys have a problem with that, just come to me. Don't yell at Wanderbots. It's not his fault. He was just trying to be professional and having somebody, whatever. So don't, okay?
Totally okay. He's consummate professional. Consummate.
I'm not terribly worried about anybody being angry at me. Anyway, though, seriously, thanks for the 3 of you for showing up for this podcast, and for those of you watching, thanks for hanging out, listening, or not really watching the whole thing. I'm nixing the video. But yeah, thanks to everybody, and I guess I will see you guys on the next podcast.
Oh, wait, where can they find you, Wanderbot?
Oh, they can find me all over the internet. It's just Wanderbot or Wanderbots on everything. I honestly don't keep track. Same thing
thanks for having us.
Yeah. Mari, you might as well shout out your Twitter and YouTube.
At Geek Remix is my Twitter, Geek Remix is my YouTube, and geekremix.tumblr.com is my Tumblr. I don't really use Facebook that much.
Yeah.
You have a GameWisp channel?
GameWisp channel. Let me say it exactly. Hold on. It is GameWisp channel /Geek Remix. GameWisp.com/channel/Geek.
Yep. And for anybody watching this on YouTube or wherever, the links are going to be in the description below if you're lazy, so you don't have to type these in. And unless I'm forgetting anything, that's pretty much it. So, as I was saying, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
And gal.
Oh, crap. Screw this up. I screwed it up again.
I don't know. I screwed it up.
All right, the end. Bye.